Welcome to Geek on Film with your host, Robbie Holmes. Hey there, folks. This is Robbie Holmes. I'm happy to be with you this week to talk about Godzilla Minus One as our main review, and going to spend a little bit of time on a revisit of May December and a first-time watch of Leave the World Behind, the new Sam Esmail film on Netflix. Will mention that I absolutely am a Whovian. Very excited to see where we landed with the 60th anniversary episodes. So much fun to see Dr. Donna return, to have Donna Noble and David Tennant as 14, the 14th Doctor, 10 returning in a new face and with new background and stuff and things. It was super fun to watch. I really enjoyed these 3 episodes. You get a little bit of everything in the Doctor Who space. You get the sort of playful first episode with a creature. The second episode is sort of a bottle episode where it's just the Doctor and Donna and 2 versions of them and then a robot, basically. And it's super fun. And then the last episode is really just an over-the-top episode of Doctor Who. The giggle is as big and bold as I think I've ever seen the Doctor go. And you've got the Toymaker showing up, being played by Neil Patrick Harris. And then, of course, we get to the Bijuvenation, where our friend, our brand new Doctor arrives, which is super fun. Couldn't be more excited to see how this came about. And I'm so excited for Ncuti Gatwa to be the new Doctor. It also leaves us with a possibility of future Doctor stories for 14, which is very exciting. Alrighty, let's jump into May, December. I watched this at Middleburg. So if you go back to my episode about Middleburg Film Festival, you'll hear my initial impression of it. And on rewatch, I'm a lot more positive, I think, on it than I was coming out of Middleburg. It's a movie that you spend a lot of time thinking about afterwards, and then listening to some people discuss it and trying to bring in those perspectives that I didn't have at the time. And it's the reason why criticism is important, because I feel like I got so much more out of a second viewing of this movie. Natalie Portman's character, Elizabeth, is pretty amazing. I feel like she is a sort of the character she's playing is maybe like a TV movie of the week esque style actress. And she's very, there's a lot. I think I even threw around the term camp. I think it's just sort of overly dramatic, caricature-esque telling of story with Elizabeth as a character. And then to have Natalie Portman and Julianne Moore, who's playing Gracie, sort of escalate their, I wouldn't even say campiness, but they're like trying to be extra. Who is the most extra out of each of them? Elizabeth is going to be playing Gracie in a movie. Gracie had an affair with a 13-year-old boy when she was like 30, I think, maybe 36. And that boy is now her husband, played by Charles Melton as Joe. Charles Melton is really amazing in this movie. I don't have a huge background with him. I know he was a big Riverdale actor, and he's had a few other things going on. He's really good in this movie. He's really good as sort of a suburban caricature-esque dad who happens to be around 30. It's not, his kids are not that much older than, he's not that much older than his kids because he started having kids when he was very young. The movie it's really fun is the way I would put it. I don't know that we're supposed to walk away with a whole lot more than just Todd Haynes having a fun time with a story and actors he wanted to play with. I'm sure there's more to be said about it and what it's trying to accomplish, but I do think it's shining a spotlight on sort of almost a little bit making fun of acting and how self-important actors like Elizabeth are. And I think it's really also just using the story of Joe and Gracie as a lens for a starting point for that approach on Elizabeth. Like this an over-the-top story loosely based on a real story in America. And then Elizabeth is sort of trying to glean as much as she can from Gracie to figure out how to play this character. and it's just it feels a little bit indulgent, a little bit over the top. I think Elizabeth is being played that way by Natalie on purpose. Natalie Portman is a pretty amazing actress, and I think playing an actress who is maybe not the greatest actress is a testament to what a good actress Natalie Portman is. I really enjoyed this. If you haven't seen it, I would 100% see it. I think there's a few very obvious metaphors that are happening in the movie, but I think that's on purpose. I don't know that Todd Haynes is trying to sneak in the story here or sneak in the symbolism. I just think I hope it's enjoyed and thought about and had fun with and less analyzation, in my opinion. Yeah, I enjoyed this film. I think you should watch it. It's now on Netflix. It's an easy approach. So go watch May December and enjoy two amazing actresses and a surprise gentleman in Charles Melton, really holding his own with these two amazing actresses. It was a fun watch. I'm going to jump over to Leave the World Behind. So I'm a huge fan of Sam Esmail. He wrote and directed this. He co-wrote it with Ruman Alaman. I believe that is the person who wrote the book. So I'm not familiar with the book it's based on, but we'll go to the IMDb. Thank you so much. We'll use your summary of the film. A family's getaway to a luxurious rental home takes an ominous turn when a cyber attack knocks out their devices and two strangers appear at their door. This film is really good. Sam Esmail is an amazing director. He does really interesting things with cameras and with approaches of camera to scene, of showing us the world in a slightly unique and different way. And we saw that all throughout Mr. Robot. I really liked this movie. I think that Julia Roberts being America's sweetheart, playing Amanda Sanford, who is sort of an uptight and borderline verbally racist in admitting what she's feeling, when the family goes to this home that they rented through Airbnb, and a knock at the door happens, and G.H. Scott, played by Marshalia Ali, and his daughter Ruth, who's played by Mahalia, say that they came here because something happened and it's their home. They own it, and they know that it's being rented by this family, which is Julia Roberts playing Amanda Sanford and Ethan Hawke playing Clay Sanford. And they have a son and daughter. So Chris Evans playing Archie Sanford and Farrara McKenzie playing Rose. This film is really interesting. It's got huge concepts, which I believe are directly from the book. But I also think that this is the kind of story that Sam Esmail loves to tell. It's what happens to humanity when technology is taken away, or when something dramatic happens in the world. Are you going to be able to handle it? How are you going to handle it? I think that was a big part of what he was getting at with Mr. Robot. I think there's a really nice shout out with Kevin Bacon playing Danny, who is the contractor who has done some work in this home. And we meet up with him. We see him at the store when the family's buying groceries at the beginning, and he's getting large cases of water, and he's looks sort of out of place for this very bougie area in Long Island. And I just love the setting of all this. I love that the Sanford family is a sort of a lefty liberal upper crusty, middle upper crusty family from Brooklyn. And then you meet the Scotts, and they are, extremely wealthy family who has a home in Manhattan. And then this home that they're renting is their like getaway home out in Long Island. It really plays with those tropes. It lets Julia Roberts' character be a little uncomfortable with the fact that they are a black family, and it's a black father and daughter, and you can feel that without it ever being said. And then there's some allusion to it, and there's some acknowledgement of it. I just loved this is not a film that I think is going to win Oscars. I think it is a film that lots of people will watch because it's on Netflix. And I really love when Sam Esmail takes on something. I know it's going to be interesting. I know it's going to be unique. It's probably wouldn't be done this way by other directors. So I was really excited to see this film. I think the ending for a lot of people is going to feel a bit like it fell off the cliff. There's not a huge like synopsis or closeout in this movie, but I think that's sort of because that's where he was trying to lead us with the author and Sam. At the end, when something large happens and sort of society falls away, there's no clean resolution. And I enjoyed it a lot. I know some people had some issues with the ending, but I would suggest watching it. I would suggest like just enjoying the like crazy camera angles he's using, all of the ability to like make you realize and see the world from a different perspective, which he tends to do a lot. You know, there's a scene where Rose is out in the garden and there's a large amount of deer, and it seems out of the ordinary. There's definitely more deer that than should be just hanging out in the back of this around this pooled area in their backyard. And then he changes the camera angle, and you see it's a lot more deer than we saw in the first camera angle. So it just intensifies the creepiness and the overall like lack of understanding that we as the audience have. I really enjoyed this. I would highly suggest watching it. It's on Netflix, and form your own opinion. Don't let anybody dissuade you from seeing this because it doesn't hand you the ending on a silver platter. I think that's okay. I actually enjoy it sometimes to leave it so we can discuss as a film fan what we think happens. It's something unique. It's something different. We don't get it every day. And I'm really thankful that Sam Esmail took the time and the funding from an organization like Netflix to get this amazing cast together and shoot this film. I'm so excited. I didn't mention very much of the characters themselves, but Ethan Hawke plays a really good sort of uh, husband who defers to his wife, and is sort of just happy in his existence. And is, you know, Mahala is amazing. She's sharp and critical and precise. And G.H. Scott, you know, Marshala Ali he's so charming and he's so reserved in what he's saying and doing. I enjoyed it so much. I think everybody should watch this film. So that's it for our precursor. We're going to jump over to Godzilla Minus One. And heading over to IMDb, our synopsis is: post-war Japan is at its lowest point when a new crisis emerges in the form of a giant monster baptized in the horrific power of the atomic bomb. This is a pretty amazing film. It's Takashi Yamazaki is the writer and director. So this is the first film made by Toho, the company that has had and created Godzilla and leased the rights to the character to Legendary Films for the Godzilla versus Kong and the legacy, the Monarch sort of ecosystem that they're creating right now. And the exclusivity of that has ended, so they were able to make this film. I will tell you, this film surprised me a lot. I had been hearing really, really good things about it, and everybody was excited by it. I didn't understand why it was such a big deal, but it's sort of the first Godzilla film I've ever seen that the human characters aren't a secondary aspect of the film. We see the movie through their lens, and Godzilla is just happening, and does not care about the humans, doesn't care about humanity, but we care about the characters that are being created. And that is unbelievable. So this takes place right at the end of World War II, and we meet a kamikaze pilot whose last name is Shikishima. He's played by Ryanosuke Kamaki. And then he meets a woman. So he is there on an island when Godzilla attacks this location where pilots can go to get their ships repaired. It's a little repair station on an island. And he was afraid to be, or wasn't willing to kill himself to further the war as this war was ending. And he sort of hid out by saying he had a problem with his plane. And then Godzilla attacked the island, and he ended up getting knocked out. But he also didn't take. He was told to go shoot Godzilla with the guns that are on his plane, and he didn't. And then he ended up getting knocked out and survived when many other people on that island didn't. So he had to deal with this. He had to deal with his own shame for not being willing to do his job as a kamikaze pilot, and then doubling that, he wasn't able to or wasn't willing to shoot and stop Godzilla before it attacked the rest of the humans. He survives and has to deal with the guilt of that for the rest of the film. That's really a big part of this. There is a woman with a little girl that he meets. That he takes care of the little girl as she runs through the middle of the market, and that is Noriko Oshi, and played by Minami Habab. Uh, so really amazing sort of found family story that ends up happening here. She follows him back to his home where his parents no longer are, and they end up living. She ends up moving in without any question. There's no story here of like, they don't go into the story further than that. It's basically like she says this is where she lives now because you can't let the child be without a home. Really impressive to make us care about these characters is so well done with such a short amount of time. And then we get into this idea that like Godzilla is destroying lots of things. It destroys downtown. It destroys the downtown area near their home, and it's really crazy. It comes back, and they are both in town, and she gets blown away by the force of debris that's flying, and she shoves him to safety. The what's interesting is he has to deal with the loss of yet another person that saved his life, and the citizens. So all of the military is no longer able to pull together the people that they need, because if the military starts striking or does anything, there's a big worry about attack or seeming as though they're in an attack posture from their enemies. So the citizens, the ex-military, the veterans have to band together, the normal citizens of Japan, and they have to come up with a plan for how to solve this. The final third of this movie is really impressive. We spend a lot more time with Godzilla, the creature. There's a really amazing choice made where Godzilla as a creature has weight and heft. I think this film, the reported budget is below $10 million, I believe. There was originally some idea that it was $15 million. And I think there was a panel where someone asked the director how he was able to accomplish what he did with $15 million. And he told them very pointedly, like, if I had $15 million, it would look better than this. I love this film's scrappiness. I love how good it looks for the cost of what they were able to accomplish. And I'm really just overall impressed with the sort of straightforward nature of the storytelling, right? Like, we focus on a man, we understand his negative self-image, and then we meet a child and a woman, and then that becomes a part of his world, and then he fails again. So we have this like really, it seems like almost like, the story of Job from the Bible, but it's a really straightforward story of a man who just can't do enough to solve what he's trying to accomplish. And then they have this final plan that comes together, and it requires him to bring in the mechanic who he failed when they were on the island. So very contrived idea of what's going on. And I will leave the ending unresolved and unreviewed because I feel like the finale is pretty unbelievable in the best way. It's definitely big filmmaking, like big, a big monster and humans trying to take it down is really interesting. And this approach that they go after for how they take down Godzilla is different. I've never seen it done in any other film. And that's really exciting. I'm really excited to see what else comes out of this company and around this franchise. And I'm going to leave it there. This has been Robbie. I'm Robbie the Geek everywhere online. We're Geek on Film, geekonfilm.com. John is still off doing amazing things on Broadway and off Broadway. Hopefully he'll be back and return soon. And he is John Hoche, JONHOCHE. And we're at the end of the year. My big hope is we'll do hopefully one more episode this year. It'll probably be Wonka. I think that's where we're heading. And then we'll probably have a best of the year episode, a little wrap up for 2023 of all the things that I found, or hopefully John and I found, to be the bests of things. So we did it last year. It turned into a double episode. It was so much fun to do. And I look forward to hopefully having an episode like that land shortly or after New Year's. Thank you so much for sticking around. Thank you so much for being a fan and staying with me this throughout all of the ups and downs and the turbulence of timing on releases. And please reach out if you have any questions. We'd love to get some ratings and reviews wherever you're listening to this. And talk to you soon, hopefully next week. Have a happy holidays. Bye-bye. This has been a Geek on Film podcast. Thanks for joining us. See you next time.